welcome to another episode of Bodega Dollz. I'm Nomi Rui.
And I'm Ava Sanjurjo.
And we are your go-to girls for all things NYC and beyond. What's been going on in New York this week?
I can only speak for myself. It's fucking hot.
It's hotter than ever. Today's like 97, 100
Everyone's
degrees.
obsessed with soccer or football, whatever your preference is. Yesterday, I'm walking by, and you know how everyone jumped in the bandwagon with, you know, the Knicks. And then I'm walking down the street, and I see these adorable girls, super fucking cute. And they're like transitions into soccer. I was like, you know what?
Transitions.
Yeah, speaking. We'll get there.
Go get
And I was like, these bitches know how to get that soccer dick, the Nick dick. But I don't want to be like, you know, like, I don't know if they're like fans.
Judging.
And I don't want to be judging. But smart. If they're, you know.
Listen, I don't want to hear anyone complaining ever since our last dating episode.
Yes.
You should learn a lesson. Get outside.
Yeah. No, they were looking mad fucking cute. The movement keeps on moving.
Wherever there's a screen.
I saw a below cheek and a little cropped soccer jersey. I was like, ugh.
Taylor Swift got married in New York.
I thought I felt a little odd.
I feel like we should acknowledge that. It's a very New York thing.
She got married the weekend of 4th of July and decided to get married at MSG. I mean, everyone knows this. We're just recapping, I guess, because we didn't care to talk about it in the last episode.
We didn't. We had better things to talk about.
We had totally better things to talk about.
As New Yorkers, we have to.
Yeah, she ruins business in a couple of blocks for her day.
Remember, she was like, Bodega.
Oh, God. Wait, did she get married on a Saturday or a Friday?
I don't fucking know or care.
Either way, it's cheap.
Just go elope or like go to Europe. Apparently, she's going on like a marriage tour.
That's disgusting.
It's just
that's when you know it's not going to work.
Monetizing.
If you have to keep on doing it, you're convincing yourself.
Girl.
If you're doing it at MSG, I think everyone got the fucking memo. Why do you have to do more than once?
I love not hearing about a wedding. I love when it happens and you find out after.
I
like when you find out with a photo. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh,
that's so
good
cute.
for you.
It's just so performative.
It's so performative. Did she charge a cover?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, is she charging tickets? Were fans invited? Because I don't doubt she has friends to fill up that whole space.
That's a big fucking piece of space. I don't know. It was tacky.
It was tacky.
Just to circle back into our first episode, people have really been mindful on how they walk down the street.
Oh, you noticed a change, a shift.
I've noticed a change. I think we're changing lives.
We're making... We've had an effect.
I think
I've had people talk to me about it, say like, you know, I never realized. Or like, I didn't realize. I knew something was pissing me off. I didn't know what it was. Now I know.
Now you're welcome.
I'm like, you're a New Yorker.
You're welcome.
You're becoming a New Yorker.
And actually, I almost feel like we should have like a recap in the end of our season because I have some new ones.
Keep track.
Yeah.
And we're going to get back. I think
we're circling because I have new ones.
When I imagine what you're doing in a day, I'm like, oh, what's David up to? I just picture you collecting things that piss you off.
Every day.
Anyway, today's topic. It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
It's been, I don't know, it's been a wild time since last we actually were on a microphone. And
Correct.
So much has changed since then.
Correct.
And there's this like obsession with the trans women.
Obsession.
And I say women specifically because it's not just trans people. There's a specific focus on trans women.
100%.
And I think we need to obviously talk about it because it's close to home.
It has close to home.
As
and
a tranny.
And also protection, awareness of it all.
Just like a reality check.
Because, it is a reality check.
This is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Based on in a country where the government is brainwashing all you motherfuckers and you're all falling for it.
Yeah.
Like it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's to the point where even like Candace Owens, you know, who she's like this conservative, like black woman who like is basically was very anti-trans. Her whole platform was, I mean, most of her brand was built on hating on trans people.
Yeah.
But it's to the point where lately she has been speaking out and saying like, you know, you all want to deflect from what's really happening by using trans bathroom bills to distract us. But the reality is you're trying to just like hold power over all of us so that we don't organize to overthrow your ass.
That's wild.
That's where we're at.
I hate that we come to that point where we're like agreeing with her.
I mean, I hate that.
She
that's
said
where
some
we're
crazy
at.
ass shit for most of her career. Is this happening?
It's happening.
Holy shit.
To the point where people that have built their whole like monetizing life on hating on trans people are just like, all right, I can't contribute to this anymore because this is ridiculous. Because now I'm seeing the effects that it's having on the country and the world. And it's just like, the truth is, like, trans people are like 1% of
1%. But that's the thing that drives me crazy. It's so clear that it's like pointed and deflecting from an actual issue like war and like starting shit and all sorts of crazy shit that's happening. And it's like, here's this.
No, and it's a perfect thing for people to be distracted by, because they could use like, you know, they like weaponize the sex appeal of like the trans woman that's like, the invasive, like underneath it's a man lurking in the bathroom, but it's like, you know, and it activates everyone's hatred and everyone's hormones and everyone's like internal hatred that they can put out towards someone else.
100%.
You become a pawn.
Oh, you're 100% a pawn. And what is your cause?
It's the cause that they always are under is like saving children and women, because women and children are so in danger of the 1% of trans people. Meanwhile, cishet men account for approximately 99% of rape in the United States.
Thank you.
So I'm just curious, when are they going to address that and legislate against that?
No, I love it because it's so cliche that, you know, as of recently, the pastors of the world that are very vocal about this, those are the exact ones that are getting like caught for like being pedophiles.
But no one makes a whole movement out of that.
No one makes a whole movement out of that at all.
There's no legislation around that.
No.
They're not organizing to create laws around that.
No.
Child fatalities. Mothers acting alone, 37% of mothers do it. Fathers, 25%. Both parents together account for the extra 19%. So where in that issue in this country are trans people injected? I don't understand how, like...
No, it's like it's always a topic during an election. The elections are coming around again. So they just want to here's this. Let's get the
white trash vote.
The white trash vote.
Which I never knew in this country that those words would go together, because I thought in this country, if you're white, you're the most privileged being on earth.
Right.
But then you combined it with trash. You can exist as that, and I can have my view towards you.
Of course.
With that, all your bigotry, all your nastiness.
Right.
But I just look the other way.
Of course. And that's what you've always done. You live your life. You wake up. Fun fact, you wake up. You make a nice cup of coffee.
Some days.
Depending
on a good day.
Depending on the evening.
I want to face the
you
world.
Wake up. We do the things to pay the rent and try not to kill people. And we try to be nice and cordial and be nice to our neighbors.
Single file.
But like, you don't wake up thinking about anybody else's lifestyle.
What happened to minding your business?
I'm a big fan of that.
You know, there was that moment where it was like the turning point for the trans movement. And ever since then, I felt like this shift, because like I'm a 90s girl. Yes. That was my era, to pump the streets and be the doll. And like, it was so underground, and it was just so fun. And it was also dark and oppressive. It was always...
Things were always happening. I mean, at the end of the day, you always have to like be protective of yourself and your soul and all the things.
No, we're minorities. It was what it was, but we had our community, our sisterhood in the underground, and then it became mainstream, and suddenly there was this added fear in all of our lives where it's like, oh my God, not everyone knows that we exist.
Right.
Men always knew we existed.
Oh, they always knew.
They were always doll hunting. Before even it was a trend. They were... I mean, yeah, doll hunters.
But like in a positive way.
They would never be positive. I mean, yeah, where you have to pay.
Oh, you'll pay.
I mean, they were always paying. They paid all the girls. We all held our secrets. Eddie Murphy and all them. It was real.
Right.
It was true. And in a weird way, it felt like safer.
Right.
Now, like, everyone's like doll hunting in a new way. They're like clocking people. Like, they're just like out to like find someone out, or like, it's just like everyone is aware and on high alert. And I just miss the days when it was something I felt was like sacred.
It was sacred. And honestly, again, you're just trying to just wake up and hope for the best. And you're not thinking about the danger. Yeah. I mean, you thought about danger.
We always thought about the danger.
You always thought about the danger, but not at this caliber where...
It wasn't on TV in that way.
Correct.
I feel like...
And part of like debates.
And none of those debates have to do with giving us more rights to live or have a job or anything.
No,
they have to do with people's views on our existence.
Which has nothing to do with your day-to-day. It has nothing to do with your day-to-day.
Back in those days, I felt like people thought if they had a trans person in their life, they were like blessed, or they were like lucky. They're like, oh my God, I know a trans person. Yeah. It was like something like a little more sacred.
Right.
Now it's just like the whole magic of it, the whole indigenousness of it. I feel like the whole like reality and nature of it has been so misconstrued and destroyed.
No, it just became dark for nothing.
In 2024, during the election cycle, the Republican Party spent nearly $215 million on anti-trans ads.
For 1%!
TV ads.
1%!
Isn't that insane?
They're 1%.
What can we do with that money?
Girl, everybody gets the body they want with that money.
Girl, but this is the thing. They really don't want people to organize around like healthcare, working minimum wage jobs for no fucking reason, around actually being able to have children and have childcare for them.
Support them.
People are so blinded by that. The fact that they're using this to distract people or divide people.
No, it's funny because Trump never, ever, still does not have any sort of healthcare agenda. No. Millions of people are going to be losing healthcare in the next few months.
Of course.
I mean, it's going to be pretty bad in the next few months. Like, it's going to be pretty terrible. But, you know, the big, great bill, that's going to fuck all over a lot of people. So that $200 million...
Housing. What could you do with housing with that?
No. They're so focused on the 1%, they're not even thinking about the whole, like, United States at all.
That's the thing why they're using trans people is to just divide the country so that they can maintain power over the people. And so they don't have to provide you with housing. They don't have to provide you with healthcare. So many people don't see that.
No.
They're willing to like sacrifice their life to be a pawn for like a trans woman to die. And it's so dark.
So dark. And
like
disgusting.
That's literally where we are. $215 million they spent on anti-trans TV ads, which doesn't account for social media and digital ads. Jesus. They were all targeted towards NFL and college football audiences in swing states.
Of course.
Yeah. The white trash vote.
Yeah. The uneducated, the ones that don't really go into the internet and actually read and get facts.
Addicted to the binary thinking.
Yeah. They're trying to make our dogs trans, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that. I saw something recently and it was like, oh my God. This father goes into the bathroom with his 2 daughters, right?
Oh, I think I saw that.
You saw this. And this fucking dummy with his wife that he had to wheel in is reading this guy about being in the bathroom with his 2 daughters and like going on and on and on. He's like, do you want my daughters to go into the men's room? Like, I'm a dad by himself trying to just go to the bathroom. Like, when the bathroom becomes so political that this straight man with his fucking 2 daughters is trying to take a simple leak.
No, because I remember that pissed me off too. It was just like, when I go into a public bathroom, I don't look anyone in the eyes. I'm looking on my phone. I'm waiting online. I'm doing my thing. I leave. No one gives a shit in reality.
Literally.
The truth of it all. Shit. It's only those weirdo people that are hyper obsessed, which is what today's episode is about. It's about transsexual obsession. Transsexual obsession. You're obsessed in a weird way. It's so sick. Those people, the guy with the buck tooth with the beard that's way too outgrown that they can't even have a comb for, wheeling his wife that probably the government doesn't support her disability.
Actually, her insurance, she don't know it yet, but Trump doesn't give a fuck about her. No. And she's probably gonna have doing Papa wheelies because she has 1 wheel left.
No, they think they're social justice warriors fighting against not even a trans person, a dad doing his fucking job.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm so over giving dads gold stars for doing the fucking
No, but for him,
thing. Yeah.
For him, he was like, it should be a woman.
Yeah.
Because that's her place in the home and with the children, and like, you're thinking about perverted things.
Right. You're the pervert. That's the thing. It's bringing out the perverts of the world.
Oh, no.
Like, the perverts are, like, high alert.
Well, they're the ones creating these laws.
Of course. It's always the pervert that's actually coming for the dolls because you want it. All right.
Tell us all this time. In December of 2025, Attorney General Pam Bondi instructed the FBI to offer cash bounties for tips leading to the arrest of people promoting what she called radical gender ideology.
Meanwhile, her face, speaking, that face, talk about transition.
Oh, girl.
You coming for the dolls and you try to look like a doll.
Girl.
You ever seen it before and after of that face?
Is it giving brick?
Girl, it's spooky. Spooky.
Texas can't even pay for its own power grid.
Totally.
But they're focused on bathroom bills, which actually went into effect. Right. So it bans trans people from the bathrooms matching their gender in government buildings, schools, and universities. The fines are $25,000 for a first violation, $125K per day for every subsequent violation. Crazy. Don't you have bigger things to worry about?
Honestly, you really, really do.
And don't the people see that? And the people are like rallying around this. You're blinded by the fact that you don't even have a power grid working.
But let's talk about where I could piss.
Where it's never happened.
Meanwhile, these people probably want to get pissed in their mouth.
And she gets paid for that. So the $25,000 that you have to pay double now.
I just got a Venmo of me pissing your face. Now I can't piss in the bathroom with you.
Ken Paxton, who is the Texas Attorney General,
okay,
who, mind you, was indicted for security fraud in 2015, who he was impeached. And he is now the Republican Senate candidate
of course
in Texas for 2026, endorsed by Trump.
You get a raise.
He opened a public tip line for bathroom snitching.
Oh, I would love to bathroom snitch, because let me tell you something. Many moons ago, when I forget his title, I think it was a senator of like Minnesota, who he did a little foot tap to check if the person next to him was into, a little bathroom play. If we want a tip, I'll be tipping all day long.
Why is there not a tip line for those dudes?
Yeah, there's no tip line for that. Well, I mean, that motherfucker did get like spooked, but
where's it? The rape tip line. Where's the domestic abuse tip line? Where's the child abuse tip line?
Exactly. No, let's focus on this. Distract. Let's get rid of an abortion. And you're going to have your dad's baby. But let's worry about bathrooms. Let's ban abortion so you can have your uncle daddy baby.
With all this, I keep going back to a statement that he said about trans people in the military. Trump's created this executive order on the military trans ban. And he said being trans conflicts with a soldier's commitment to be truthful, honorable, and disciplined. Meanwhile, this dude that he's co-signing, is that honorable, truthful, and disciplined?
No, not at all. Let's not forget that our president is a rapist. Was it $5.6 million that he had to give to the woman that he had raped?
Oh, so he paid.
Oh, he paid. Settled. So this man, his rapist,
honorable, truthful, and disciplined. The whole thing is just so embarrassing that this is the country we live in. We're just going to call out the obvious. In 2025, the DOJ sent subpoenas to 20 plus doctors and clinics demanding the full medical records of every patient under 19 who received gender affirming care. They wanted names, date of birth, social security numbers, parent information.
So can I also get all the women that you paid abortions for as a backsies? Can I get a list of all the abortions that you paid for? Can I get a list of all the women that you raped and have to probably take a pill for every day for their life or whatever you gave them?
If we're getting into medical records.
You want to get into medical records, motherfucker?
Well, the latest is on June 30th, there was a landmark 6-3 ruling upholding state bans on trans girls and women only from female sports teams under Title IX. Written by Justice Kavanaugh, who we all know Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh was accused of sexually assaulting teenagers.
Correct.
Right? Teenage girls. And he was a part of overturning Roe versus Wade.
Correct.
Okay. And he now wrote a law that allows girls to have their pussies checked.
I definitely want him to be regulating pussies.
I mean, and parents co-sign that. Parents have sent their daughters and said, yes, I will fight against the 4 trans people that have ever competed in any sports. I will subject my daughter to a general inspection by Judge Kavanaugh.
So here's my deal on that. It's like those toxic, horrible families where they marrying off a daughter super early. You're letting your young daughter being exposed at such a young age, already knowing that at this point something's off. And you're allowing an older man, look at you. So you're making it, you're basically projecting something that's way more toxic than any transgender issue. You're letting a grown man inspect your young child's genitals. You're just like, here's my daughter, I'm proving a point. And then you're actually really traumatizing her.
They're not really educated in the actual existence of trans people. They really think they're just like boys that want to play in girls' sports and have this idea in their head. They don't understand that they're subjecting their children. Like, if you don't fit into society's idea of what a girl should look like, if you don't look high def femme and you're not giving cunty curly hair and you have a mustache and you're bricky, and if you're way too good at sports, they have the right to question you. Why is it only trans girls and women?
That's it.
They did not rule against boys at all. Trans men are allowed to play. Trans men are given a pass.
Wow.
But only trans girls. Is that not a red flag to even women in the world? You're utilizing the same techniques that they use to oppress women in general, to oppress trans people, and to have us co-sign it.
Is it because you're obsessed with wanting to fuck us all the time?
I think that's part of it, but I also think there's this like not understanding something. You know, like I can understand how a white woman from Ohio would never understand what it means to be a trans woman. I get it. I don't expect you to get it. It's fucking weird to me. It's even still fucking weird. I don't get it. This is who I am. It is what it is. Yeah. I'm living my life. I'm doing the best I can to still stay alive. Why the fuck did you have to obsess with me? If I don't understand something, first of all, I may take the time to understand it and wrap my head around it and empathize with it.
Of course.
Or it grosses me out. I'll look the other way.
Right.
And as you were.
Right.
As you were. You can be the man in the rug at the club.
Right.
That everyone stepped on top. I'm not judging you.
Of course not. At the end of the day, like, I would never judge anybody's day-to-day life. You know, like, you wake up, you hope for the best. That's always been my motto. I don't want to be an asshole. I want to just be as nice as
American. Because America was built on what? Freedom, right? So everyone's supposed to be free to be who the fuck they are and do what they want with their bodies until it's in a female form, or you're actually a fucking cisgendered born female, right? Which we all know women have already been oppressed in this area, where it's like the government wants to have a say in everything you do with your pussy. Yep. And so now that they discovered trans women exist, they're like, well,
let's add more to this list.
Yeah, here, you know, now we can use this to make even cis women maybe divided, or like, how do we use this to have more control over women?
The fear of the unknown. Like, you don't know how it is to have children. You don't know how it is to be waking up every day just to get some milk and get back home and hope for the best. It's like they just obsess. It's all fucking fear. It's all fear.
And the fear is really that they're going to be found out that they like that shit. Because you didn't have a fear of the unknown when you didn't know what it was like to meet your mistress and go to meet her at a hotel and tell your wife that you were coming home late. That's an unknown. That's a fear of the unknown. But you are very comfortable telling your wife that I'm going to have to work extra late tonight and I'm going to have to go pay the fucking tranny to go get my rocks off and then go back to your home and wake your children and then what? Go to work. That's an unknown. But you were willing to dip into that world.
That is unknown, but known.
Till as old as time.
I mean, that's the truth.
Listen, I have been
a girl.
I've had a lot of fun in my life.
Listen.
And I've seen all sides of this fucking spectrum.
I know you have.
That's why I can speak on this shit, because I've seen these men, the other side of their life, where they'll be with me, sleeping with me, introducing me to drugs I've never done when I didn't even want to, bringing me into worlds unknown till as old as time. The next day, I see you on the internet representing a Republican right-wing party and acting like you're against immigration. Meanwhile, you're an immigrant. You're for the wholesome family. Meanwhile, your mistress is a tranny that you gave G to. And you're on the internet promoting right-wing theories.
The double live of it all. The double live.
You have the nerve to still have your video up on the internet and text me, where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
You up. Girl, this is
the world we live in.
But this is so classic. This is, again,
but people don't even realize that that's what's happening. They will refuse to believe it, but it's just like...
No, yeah.
It's so...
It's cliche.
Wild.
And people don't believe it, but this is, again, the tale as old as time. And it's so rich. It's just so rich. Men are also, and not all men, but men are also obsessed with having a double life.
Oh, of course.
The secret girl.
The problem is that men are born with natural born given privilege. Whether you're a good guy or a bad guy or whatever kind of man you are, you exist in a world where you have privilege over women, over anyone that is not a man.
Right.
The fact is that in order to live in a world that's equal, men will have to give up a little bit of the privileges that they have.
God forbid.
And they are not willing to do that.
Nope.
They don't want to budge even an inch.
Not a cunt here.
They're not willing to just like peek behind the fucking lens and see the world outside of themselves and be like, you know what? I've had too much supper. Like, why don't you have...
Say when.
Here's some porridge for you.
No.
They're like, no, I want to watch you hungry while I'm being fed.
Yep.
And then maybe I want to take some of yours too.
Listen, I might have dated people like that for all I know, especially when I've dated outside my race, where they've always wanted to take me down a peg, especially if I'm smarter than them in any way. Like, God forbid if you're smarter.
Oh, no.
If I am dating somebody who's white and God forbid I'm making more money than them and I'm smarter than you, they do everything they can to take me down 20 notches.
Oh, no. Yeah, they're like
everything they can.
They're like, they think they're in Black Mirror.
No, yeah, it's like, how dare you have, my privilege has always been like education and showing initiative in politics, and things are happening around me. Like, how dare you, basically, taking you down several notches because I'm not supposed to be educated. I'm supposed to stay in my little lane while you're supposed to thrive.
Of course. Because you're supposed to be a product of their protection. Because that's the thing, that they weaponize everyone. Because women and children need to be protected. Meanwhile, let me go back to my statistics. The number one cause of death for pregnant women in America is homicide by their male partners.
Girl.
That's a statistic.
That's frightening.
It's not heart disease. It's not stress.
No, it's the man that you're sleeping with the enemy.
Where is all the legislation against that? When is a president going to come where it's going to be like, vote for me because I'm going to make sure men know better feel threatened by their pregnant wife. They don't want to do that because they know that people in their party that they work with are probably going to be eliminated. Yeah. So they're like, why would we actually?
We want your vote.
We don't want to actually protect women against what really harms them and children.
Right.
Because last time I checked, we both love true crime.
Girl, don't get me
There's
started.
a lot of content in this country who does it.
Husbands killing their wives.
And the children.
And the children.
But you want to focus
on... But let's just focus on the 1%.
That just wants to be pretty and have titties and stay home and not be safe.
Girl.
We just want to be pretty and left alone.
I just want a chicken pot pie.
Girl.
I just want my Netflix.
I was about to say Netflix.
And that's
Hulu.
It. Hulu.
I just want to watch Love Island.
I just want to be next to my bird.
Girl.
You guys have
Portia? Where you at? I'm going to go back to the sports thing because I do feel like there was a moment where Leah Thomas, this trans woman who was on hormones for 2 years and decided to switch from men's sports to play at women's sports. Of course. And it became this whole big controversy, which I do have a different perspective on that. I feel like the same way they do weigh-ins in boxing, they should do like hormonal weigh-ins. Yeah. Like, you should be of the same hormonal kind of like structure. I don't know how that's balanced out, but like figure it out. If you're a brick, you should be battling a brick. If you're a cunt, you should be battling a cunt. If you're fishy, battle fish. I do think there should be this like weigh-in situation. I do feel like even with cis women, people don't realize that there is a spectrum of biology.
Correct.
Like gender and sex are on a spectrum.
Correct. We're
not built to be binary. Things fall in the middle, things fall over the edges, things fall in between, things fall overlap. Everyone's different. So like if you're going to go by that, balance them out so that they're against their own equal competitor. But I think what people are missing is that, can't you see that this is only focused on girls and women? Don't you see the misogyny in that? Like trans men can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
If you identify as a man, they're like, welcome to the club.
Yep.
More people to fight for our cause to maintain our privilege.
Right.
I don't think people realize this whole thing about sports and women and investigating their bodies is going to affect cis women.
Of course.
Like if you're bricky, which like I'm going to quote T.S. Madison because I was watching her podcast recently and she said, have you ever met a brick with a hole in it? And I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God. And she was talking about cis women that look bricky.
I can't. Let me just I'm just powder myself. Okay.
Okay, pass it over, girl.
Yeah. Girl, I'm not about to be brick.
No. Speaking of bricks, let's soften up, girl. Soften up for the camera.
Edges.
Okay, we're going to soften up for that. A brick with a hole in it is a cis woman that looks like a fucking man. Yeah. Which there exists.
Of course they do.
Because we exist on a spectrum.
Of course.
Because not all women are built like Angelina Jolie and J-Lo and fucking Rihanna. Yeah, that's not a reality.
No, it's not.
There's a spectrum of women.
Yeah.
An athlete, Caster Semenya, a South African, of course, brown, middle distance runner, 2-time Olympic 800-meter gold medalist.
Gold, darling.
Assigned female at birth.
Yeah.
Raised as a girl, identified as a woman, a girl. The end. She was born with XY chromosomes, but developed female physical characteristics. Her body naturally produces testosterone. in a typical male range.
Okay.
Which she has no control over. She's a woman.
She's a woman. She
lives her life as a woman. She has the woman's experience. She has a pussy.
They're coming for her because of that?
Oh, they came for her ass. After she won the 2009 World Championships at 18 years old, they subjected her to a sex verification test.
That's so rude.
That's what they want for girls. If you don't look like a Kim Kardashian, a cunty, femme queen, I don't know what they think women are supposed to look like. Mermaids, Ariel from under the sea. It's like women come in all shapes and motherfucking sizes.
No, if you're not fuckable in the male gaze, they will question your femininity.
Correct.
If you're not part of the hard-on, they will question your worth, strength, all the things. It's incredibly crazy how these motherfuckers only care about their cocks because it's all about the cock.
And it's just weird to me how like they never focus on trans men. And where are all the trans men? You would think there'd be a rising of trans men coming to fight about
exactly. That's the tea about this. Like, where are my brothers in this?
No. Because I don't know.
They're like, I'm getting past.
Either A, they're silenced, or B, why would you give up your privilege?
If you're being silenced, you're a fucking puss.
Of course.
You should be coming forward for the community, not for your fucking self. But you only care about getting passable and getting your fucking sharp jaw that you're not standing up for your family.
I mean, I don't see it.
Let's not forget who threw the first fucking brick, bitch. You want to talk?
Unless there's a movement that I'm not aware of, I would love to see it.
I haven't been CC'd on anything.
I haven't been CC'd on that. I don't know.
I have not been CC'd.
But it seems like once you go into the boys club, you have the taste of the privilege, and you're like
it's
peace
like
the fuck out.
It's like they don't even listen to Madonna anymore.
Where you at?
Like,
but a lot of them date trans girls. So where is your voice? It has not come into my algorithm. If they saw trans men walking into a woman's bathroom, what's that gonna look like? No one thinks about that.
Because they're being passable in the men's bathroom.
So what do you think's happening in the women's bathroom?
Because they only care about trans women.
We're going to switch into popular culture right now.
Okay.
So Dave Chappelle spent years doing many anti-trans jokes.
Correct.
Which I did not find funny for a while.
I know.
He declared himself a TERF. He said he was Team TERF.
What does that mean for people who don't understand what Team TERF is?
Trans exclusionary radical feminists. Women who are feminists and fight for women's rights.
Okay.
But they're like, trans women are not a part of our movement. They're like, you are an obstruction to the feminist movement.
Got it.
So as a feminist, it's like, so you don't really see what's happening. The smallest percentage is being used.
You're just blinded by your own cause, not everyone else's.
The transsexual obsession. So Dave Chappelle has been making all these anti-trans jokes. He discussed his friendship with Daphne Dorman, a trans comedian who died by suicide after being harassed online for defending him. He used her story to argue that he's not anti-trans, which I can understand being too early to the party. It's like, we're not there yet.
Like myself, I live in a New York bubble, right? I just think that we're all like love each other and we're all going to the bathroom and we're all doing things. And not that I'm putting him into my New York bubble, but like maybe he was in a bubble where he was oblivious to the fact
privilege.
Privilege. I live in a very liberal bubble sometimes. And
but Dave Chappelle's a rich man in this country. So you're clearly out of touch with trans issues. And that's a very underground thing.
It is, and I think he thought it was above ground, maybe. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you feel like, you have the one trans fan that you're like back and forth and everything, you're having a full kiki, and you're like, oh, this is just what it is. And then when you get out into the real world, you're like, oh,
there's more of you.
There's more of you that don't have the same experience.
Oh, this is actually real. Or like, it's not just like a headline on TV. It's like actually a group of people that are struggling to exist and just have a job and just live a life and just pay a rent.
Well, that's the privilege of being
a very rich
man. So you're
comedian in America.
Yeah.
You don't see the consequences. But then he did. He said he resents how the Republican Party weaponized his trans jokes against the country.
Yep. The repercussions of that.
It's just like with any movement of oppressed people, sometimes it's too soon.
Yeah.
I watched his last special because I was like, I actually see what the fuck he has to say now.
Right.
And it was actually funny.
Yeah, no,
because he said he went to Saudi Arabia to do stand up there. He's like, oh well, they didn't have a problem with trans shows. I was like, okay, now, and he was kind of calling out their culture.
Right.
And he was like, they, on stage they released this hawk. The hawk went up in the air and then went down and like attacked someone and they died. And it was a trans person. And he's like, then we went to court and like, I was so scared. I feel like I was never going to leave the country. But then it was like, you killed someone? Oh my God, wait. Oh, was it a trans person? Oh no, it's just a misdemeanor. And like, that was a good trans joke. Right. I was like, okay, you took your experience, spoke about the darkness of the culture.
Yeah.
Because
I get
it basically at the end of the joke was like, you really don't care about trans people.
Right.
Roisin Murphy, who, it was so funny because I opened up for her when I was performing with Hercules Love Affair.
Oh my God, yeah.
We played with her in Europe, and I remember having like backstage moments with her, and she would be with her cigarette, and I'd see her like her wardrobe's rolling by with her name on it, and we had our little moments together. But somehow she's randomly fell into the anti-trans discourse.
Right.
She went to Facebook. Who goes to Facebook anymore? Girl,
because she's old.
It's very old.
Yeah. Like, you're not on MySpace doing this, you fucking dumb bitch. Friendster? Are you on Friendster making comments and thinking like no one's gonna fucking read it?
Girl, it's giving like my mom on Facebook. It's like,
girl, my mom's on a flip phone.
She posted on Facebook calling puberty blockers absolutely desolate and big pharma laughing all the way to the bank. And she referred to trans youth as little mixed up kids. She then got dropped by her label. I'm like, do you not keep track of who your audience is?
That's the thing that keeps on tripping me out. Like, who do you think is paying for your weekend at fucking the Pines? Who the fuck do you think is paying for that? Come on.
It's like Lauryn Hill when she was like, she talked shit. At one point, I was like, girl, don't you know how many queens live for you? Like,
girl, hypocrisy. Come on.
I would think for me, music is supposed to be, any kind of music is supposed to be like break barriers and bring people together.
I thought that was a tea.
Clearly not. She apologized. She said she was out of line. But then in 2024, she walked it back saying that the backlash wasn't that bad.
Was it not?
And then in 2026, this year, she committed to telling trans activists that they are not welcome at her shows. And she said the trans community is undermining gay and lesbian people.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Changing the historical record and dismantling the culture. Her whole performance is based on an identity that clearly is not her.
Wow. She's nasty.
She's nasty. I mean, she's bricky. I would like to have an inspection done.
Was that the term?
Yeah, brick with a hole in it.
Brick with a hole in it.
She's a brick with a hole in it.
Listen.
Let's check her genitals. Because she may be an angry tranny. Maybe she's just like angry because she wasn't pretty enough when she grew up.
Listen, I'm not one to face shame.
The rapper YG, who I actually did a gig with, which is hilarious. I DJ'd for Willie Chevalia's after party, and YG did a performance, and we had a little moment together sharing the booth. He had the nerve to come out with a track called Tiffany. The song is about a trans woman who discloses her identity to a man before having sex, and he freaks out. The lyrics turn into what goes on in his mind before, wanting to basically kill her.
So he's going through a stan moment for like Eminem stuff.
It's giving Eminem stan.
Okay.
First of all, it co-signs the trans panic defense, which is a law that still exists in certain states, which is, I didn't even realize. Certain states still have the trans panic defense, where if you meet a girl in a club and you don't know that she's trans and she tells you she's trans and you freak out, you can murder her and get away with it.
Disgusting. Like, that law exists. I just can't.
Like, that's insane.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
The reality of the situation because as a trans woman, maybe they're a little disoriented, but
there's always a callback.
They're going to finish off.
Fuck yeah.
So this story to me is not realistic, YG. Like, if you wanted some lyrics and some songwriting tips, what actually happens when she tells him the tea, he says, oh shit, I didn't know. Boom. You know how to suck dick? Obviously she does. Gargles teaches you a lesson or two.
Gag your life.
There's a thing called post-nut clarity. It's like when guys have an orgasm, then suddenly they realize, oh my God, what did I do? What happened?
I figured out fucking science.
How did I get here?
I got the job. I made banana bread.
Maybe then.
I did my laundry.
I would say, like, if the song included that, maybe then it would be more realistic. Because sometimes I've seen guys that they're thinking about what other men are thinking, which is the most gayest thing I've ever seen.
That's the gayest thing
They're like, what would other men think? What would my friends think?
Meanwhile, at back of the wrench,
they'll do the same. They have a hotter bitch than you.
We could all circle jerk this.
They're like, you should have just told me. I got Cassandra, Jasmine,
Extrava.
All the extravas are at my house, bitch. Why were you just with Tiffany? She's a hot mess. That's how most trans women are murdered, is by their partners that are interested in them, that love them, and that suddenly are like, oh, I'm so ashamed of what the world may think. They're so obsessed with what the outside world would think of them.
Yeah.
That then, I mean, if we look at those statistics, those trans girls are murdered also by their lovers. Just like cis girls are.
Sadly, yes.
I mean, it's a dark topic.
No, honestly,
we've been dreading this topic.
But it's important to have, and I love you, and I care about everything that happens to you when you wake up, when you get home. I mean, Nomi and I are like kind of Grey Gardens, but when Nomi leaves the country, you know, she's a well-traveled woman. My mama bear does come up, and, you know, thank God for all the things to make sure we're all good and safe. And I know we're both insanely independent women, but, you know, a check-in is important. But I also feel that more so now, I feel a little bit more self-aware of what's happening in our current state, and we always think each other is murdered, but like,
of course,
but I also know that you're you're a smart bitch and all the things, but you know, like I know that you are that. I know you're a smart person, but I don't know what other people are like. You know, like that's why I don't like to drive, because I don't know how to drive. Because I don't know what the other drivers will do. Like,
it's wild out there.
It's wild out there. You're street smart, you're people smart, and all the things. But like, you know, I care about the little muffins out there. They don't know how to protect themselves, and sometimes live on the edge and not telling these boys the tea. And then you're getting into like a place where like it murder. And listen to the mothers. Listen to the mothers.
Absolutely.
Listen to the mothers out there. Don't go out there being all cute and high and mighty, and like, because they went through some dark, crazy shit, and they're only trying to protect you. They're only trying to protect you, and listen to them, and you're going to be able to edit faster than we did. I know I'm doll adjacent, so I'm saying we.
No, you're with me.
But like, imagine the editing process if the girls will listen.
Well, that's being a mother. The daughters will always have to learn the hard way.
Listen. Are we rebellious?
My daughters have all had to learn the hard way.
Yes,
or not. I mean, I think a lot of them have.
But you know, like I'm spoiled because like I've had the best friend in the world. I'm gonna get fucking emotional.
Don't you?
Fucking Christ. I've had the best friend a girl could ever dream of, and we've always been there for each other, and we worry about each other, and I know that I
thought you were murdered this weekend.
Yeah, we always think we're murdered, but
you were just doing anal.
Yeah, I was just doing anal, but we're always gonna worry about each other. But I always feel
it's family.
It's family.
A lot of people don't have that.
No, other people don't have it. But you know, I hope that everyone out there has their chosen family, that always has that one family. Be like,
no, that's why I think
give me
a lot
a screenshot of where you are, because life is like, it was cool and under the radar, and now it's not. And now I feel like it's a little bit more dangerous, to be honest, because of the whole passport shit. And identity, and like you leaving a country knowing that someone knows where you're before you like left the airport, and you don't know if that person texted somebody in the like, you don't know, like they've made it so much more dangerous for the dolls out there because of the 1% agenda that makes it just makes no sense. It just makes no sense to me.
No, it makes no sense. But it's also like it's activated all the people that don't make sense. The creepy, like, it's giving Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're awake. They're out there now. But I do think the new generation needs to link more or be more in tune with the generation before them. Because, like, when I was transitioning, you think I asked my mommy and daddy for permission, or the doctors, or like I was waiting for the government to say it's okay to be trans?
Fuck no.
No, girl, I found my community.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening out there now, but I feel like everyone's so separated by the internet, and everyone wants to be the first and the one and the only. And it's like, I was always thirsty to be one of many.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm wondering what's happening out there. Like, where are your resources? Like, I didn't think about asking my doctor for hormones. I asked another doll that I met.
Girl, we had moan doctors calling my fucking phone.
Exactly. You were my emergency contact for my moan dealer.
She's on A Street between fucking this and that, you know, like.
We had the Amanda Lepores.
Yes,
we had the Sophia Lamars. We had the, like, you know, Brenda's.
The dolls before.
We had the girls that wanted not to be the only one. They wanted more of us, and they were like, here are the secrets. Here are the jewels. Here's the pharmacy you should go to get your moans. Here's where you're gonna find your truth.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, I feel like social media is separating all the dolls. They all are glowing on the internet. They're all like, they're stars everywhere. They're the first. But it's like, where is the community that's gonna support the new kids and
protect each other?
Exactly.
That's what's missing, is the protection part.
Yeah. We're underground. At the end of the day, we will never be treated like high society.
Right. Unless
you become rich and unless you're the privileged one. And that's just you on your own. Those do exist, but like within every oppressed community, there's a doll there.
Yeah.
You know, in the darkest depths of the most like low class third world society, there's a trans girl there who is, even beyond, with all the shit she's enduring, still wants to just be attached to her femme soul. And it's like another level of darkness for her. And it's just like, that's the reality of the world. Let people live their truth. It's just so embarrassing that we live in a government where this is the focus. It's so embarrassing, because literally we just want to have like titties and ass and be cute.
That's all.
Well, thank you for this journey. It's been dark and weird and like, you know, but informative. I hope everyone learns that this is all fucking ridiculous.
It's fucking ridiculous. Protect yourself. Know your rights.
Listen,
you keep
ladies,
on going.
Okay, for the ladies, you already read your asses. Yeah. Listen to your mothers. Listen to your elders. Keep your community going. And to all the dudes that are tuning in. See you next time.
I'll meet you in the ladies' room.
Ridiculous.